Most people using Claude AI are broke. Not because Claude doesn't work, because they're using $100 billion brain to write birthday cards. Right now, there's a small group of people who found the actual unlock. Not write my email faster, not summarize this PDF. They found the 8 businesses Claude can basically run for them. And the gap between those people and everyone else? It's not closing. It's widening every single day you don't act. So here's the deal. I'm about to hand you 8 real business ideas. The exact tech stack, the exact prompt, the exact pricing, built on Claude AI. Some of these you launched this weekend with zero experience. 1 or 2 of these could replace your income by next year, if you actually move. But first, quick gut check. If you've ever opened Claude, asked it one question, closed the tab and thought, cool tool, that's the $50 billion mistake everyone's making right now. Claude isn't a tool. It's an employee that never sleeps, never complains, and works for about $20 a month. Idea number 1. Local service marketplace. Alright, idea number 1 is going after a market that's already minted billion-dollar companies, more than once. TaskRabbit, Thumbtack, Angie, all prove that people will pay real money for just get someone here to fix this. But step outside the major metro and watch the whole thing fall apart. Open one of those apps in a mid-sized city and you're staring at 3 providers. 2 of them inactive, 1 of them an hour away. That's not a small gap, that's a wide open lane. Here's why nobody's filled it. The cold start death spiral. No providers, customers bounce. No customers, providers stop checking the app. Round and round it goes until the marketplace just quietly dies. Every founder who's tried this in a small market has hit that same wall. Claude breaks the spiral because it lets a tiny marketplace feel fully stuffed even when it isn't. You don't need 3,000 providers on day 1. You need maybe 30 good ones in a single city and an AI layer smart enough to make 30 feel like 300. Picture this. A customer types, my garbage disposal is jammed, need someone today. Claude reads that, figures out the actual job category, ranks the best fit local provider by skill and availability, writes a professional quote on the provider's behalf, and this is the part that actually saves the business, automatically follows up if the provider goes quiet. Because that's the real reason these platforms bleed customers. Not bad matching, silence. Stacks lean, Next.js on the front end, Supabase running auth and the database, Twilio firing off SMS pings, Claude's API sitting in the middle as the actual dispatcher. Claude isn't a feature bolted onto this app. Claude is the app. It reads requests, ranks providers, drafts quotes, chases follow-ups. Monetization is stupidly simple because the model's already proven. Charge providers a flat fee, somewhere in the $10 to $25 range per match job. No subscriptions to sell, no complicated tiers. A provider gets a real lead, pays a small cut, everybody's happy. And here's the part people miss. You could realistically stand up a working version of this in a single weekend. 1 city, 30 providers, a chat box, that's it. I'm not going to read the whole prompt out loud, it's long, it's specific, and you want the exact wording anyway. It's on screen right now, and I'm dropping all 8 prompts in the description too, so just grab it from there. And once you're inside the build, Claude's doing 4 specific jobs, not just one vague AI matching thing people slap on a landing page. First, job parsing. Someone types, need my fence painted before Saturday, Claude extracts the category, urgency, and scope without the customer filling out a single dropdown. Second, provider ranking. Not just who's closest, but who's actually done this job type before, who's got the rating for it, who's free that day. Third, quote generation. Claude drafts the message so the provider isn't starting from a blank text box every single time a lead comes in. Fourth, and this is the one that quietly makes the whole business work, automated nudges. Hey, just checking back on that fence job for Saturday. Sent automatically. No provider remembers to do this on their own, ever. For the MVP, you genuinely don't need much. 2 onboarding flows, 1 for customers, 1 for providers. A request page, the AI matching layer, basic in-app messaging. Skip building a payment system on day 1, let people settle up off-platform until you've actually proven the demand is real. Founders waste months building Stripe infrastructure for a marketplace that hasn't landed its first 10 real jobs yet. That's idea 1. Simple problem, boring stack, and an entire industry basically ignoring the market you'd be building in. Idea number 2. Salon and Barbershop booking platform. Now here's an idea most tech people scroll straight past, because on paper it sounds too boring to bother with. barbershops, nail salons, local beauty studios. And somehow, in 2026, half of them are still running appointments through Instagram DMs and a notebook taped next to the register. That's not an exaggeration. That's Tuesday for most local shop owners. A booking platform built specifically for salons solves something that's costing these owners real money every single week. Missed appointments, no-shows, double bookings, staff schedules held together with sticky notes. Clients book online. Automated reminders go out over WhatsApp or SMS so no-shows actually drop. Deposits lock in the serious bookings. Loyalty tracking brings people back without the owner manually remembering who's due for a cut. The reason this niche is criminally underbuilt isn't that the tech is hard, it's that nobody wants to build boring software when they could chase the next flashy consumer app instead, which is exactly why this is such a good lane. Local businesses don't switch software every few months chasing trends. If it works, they keep paying, year after year. That's the kind of retention consumer apps would kill for. Pricing here is straightforward, somewhere around $80 a month per shop for the full stack. Bookings, reminders, staff scheduling, deposits, loyalty. Land 20 shops and you've got real, boring, dependable recurring revenue. Land 50 and this stops being a side project. Idea number 3, local business review booster. Idea 3 is the least glamorous thing on this entire list, which is exactly why almost nobody's building it. A tool that helps local businesses collect more Google reviews consistently and catches unhappy customers before they turn into a public 1-star post. Sounds almost too simple. It is simple. That's the point. Every local business owner already knows their star rating matters. A spot sitting at 4.8 pulls in dramatically more foot traffic than one stuck at 4.2. People choose where to spend money off those tiny yellow stars before they ever read a single sentence. But almost none of these owners have an actual system for managing it. They're hoping happy customers remember to leave a review on their own. They usually don't. Here's the workflow. Customer scans a QR code after their haircut, their meal, their appointment, whatever. The system follows up automatically over text. Happy customers get pushed straight toward leaving a public Google review. Unhappy customers get quietly routed into a private feedback form instead, so the business can fix the problem before it becomes a permanent scar on their profile. That single routing decision, public praise versus private complaint, is the entire product. And it's worth a lot because reputation is directly tied to revenue in a way almost no other local software is. Better ratings, more customers, more money. Owners feel that connection instantly. You're not pitching them some abstract AI tool they don't understand. You're pitching them more customers walking through the door. Pricing scales fast here too. Around $200 a month per business is realistic once the platform's actually moving the needle on review volume. 20 clients and you've got meaningful recurring revenue. 50 clients and this isn't a side hustle anymore. It's a real local agency business on autopilot. Idea number 4. Hyperlocal dating app. Idea 4 sounds like the riskiest bet on this list, until you actually think about how bad dating apps get the second you leave a major city. Tinder works fine if you live in New York or LA, where there's an endless supply of new profiles every time you open the app. Move to a mid-sized town and you'll swipe through the entire local pool in about 10 minutes flat. The app still works, it's just empty. That emptiness is the opening. A dating platform built around a single city or region instead of chasing global scale isn't trying to beat Tinder. It's solving the exact problem Tinder stopped caring about years ago. Here's where Claude actually earns its place in the product, because the real bottleneck in dating apps was never the matching algorithm, it's the social friction. Nobody knows how to write a bio that doesn't sound like everyone's. Nobody knows what to say first. So half of every match dies before a single real message gets sent. Claude fixes all 3 of those choke points. A user answers 5 quick questions about themselves, and Claude turns that into a bio that actually sounds like a person instead of a template. When 2 people match, Claude generates a short, specific reason they might actually click, pulled from both profiles, not some generic "you both like travel" filler. And when someone's stuck staring at the chat with nothing to say, Claude drops 3 opening lines tailored to the match: playful, curious, observational. So the conversation has somewhere to go besides hey. Stacks familiar by now. Next.js frontend, Supabase running auth and image storage. Claude powering the bio/match/icebreaker layer. Stripe handling subscriptions. Keep the MVP tight. Profile creation, swipe and match, in-app messaging, and a location filter locked to one city radius. That's a weekend build, not a 6-month one. Monetization already has a proven playbook, since dating apps have been printing money on this model for over a decade. Charge around $10 a month for the premium tier. Unlimited swipes, AI-generated icebreakers, visibility into who already liked you. And notice the pattern forming across these first 4 ideas. Big platforms leave gaps the second they get obsessed with scale. Small, focused products slide right into those gaps and quietly own them. Idea number 5. AI SaaS clone generator. Idea 5 turns something almost every developer already does in their head into an actual product. You find a SaaS company making real money. You open the landing page, you start guessing how the backend probably works. You sketch the database in your Notes app, and then you tell yourself, someone should build this for a different niche. And then you never do. That exact thought loop has spawned thousands of startups. This idea just automates the loop. A user pastes any SaaS URL into the app. Claude studies the landing page, works out the likely product structure behind it, and hands back a full breakdown. Feature list, suggested database architecture, UI structure, an MVP roadmap, even a starting direction for the code. It's not copying anyone's software. It's studying why a business works and packaging that insight into something a developer can act on immediately. Most successful startups aren't invented from nothing anyway. They're proven frameworks adapted for a smaller niche. Think of how many products are basically Notion, but for one specific industry. This tool just compresses weeks of manual research into a few minutes. Monetization here is about as clean as it gets. $30 per generation gets someone in the door. Then a monthly plan, around $80 for unlimited reports, becomes an easy upsell for the indie hacker crowd, who are already spending money every month on coding tools and research platforms anyway. The buying habit already exists. You're just giving them a faster way to feed it. Idea number 6. A nice startup idea validator. Every builder has a graveyard of half-dead ideas somewhere. A Notes app full of them, a domain bought at 2 a.m., a concept that sounded incredible for 3 days before real research killed it. Idea 6 exists to kill bad ideas faster, before you waste months building something nobody actually wants. The pitch is simple. Type in a one-line startup idea, wait about 60 seconds, get back a full validation report. Market size, competitor landscape, monetization options, MVP scope, launch strategy, even angles for the actual launch post. Most founders don't fail because they couldn't build the thing. They fail because validation happened after 3 months of coding, not before. Behind the scenes, this runs as a chain of prompts rather than one giant request. One pass scores the market, another scans competitors and finds the white space, another ranks monetization models by fit, another builds the MVP feature list, and just as importantly, the list of features to explicitly not build in version 1, because knowing what to cut is the actual hard part. A final pass builds the go-to-market plan and a handful of launch hooks for the landing page, the cold DM, the launch post. Stack, Next.js, Supabase, Claude's API with extended thinking turned on for the deeper analysis passes, and optionally a live web search layer for pulling real competitor data instead of relying on the model's training alone. The interface barely needs to exist beyond one input box and a results dashboard. The output quality is the entire product here, not the UI polish. Monetization fits the indie hacker world perfectly. One free validation to hook people, then $19 per report or $49 a month for unlimited runs. Founders don't validate one idea and stop. They come back every time a new one shows up. Idea number 7. An internal company assistant. Idea 7 solves a problem every growing company eventually runs into. Company knowledge scattered across a dozen places nobody can actually search. Half-buried Slack threads. A Notion page nobody's touched since spring. A meeting recording with the one answer someone needs. 40 minutes into a call they'll never rewatch. New hires end up interrupting 3 different managers asking the same basic questions over and over because there's no single place that actually knows the answer. This one flips that. A company uploads its SOPs, onboarding docs, handbooks, meeting notes, training material, and Claude turns all of it into a conversational assistant employees can just talk to. Instead of pinging a manager, a new hire asks directly, "What's our refund policy? How do I submit expenses? When does payroll close?" The answer shows up immediately, pulled straight from the company's own documentation. It goes beyond lookup too. Claude can summarize meetings automatically, turn a rough conversation into a formatted SOP, and help structure onboarding flows without anyone manually organizing a knowledge base by hand. This sounds like the most boring idea on the whole list, and that's exactly why it's one of the strongest business models here. Companies pay well for operational tools once they're actually embedded in daily work. $500 to $2,000 a month is realistic for a team buried in scattered documentation. And once it's in, churn drops to almost nothing. Employees start depending on it every day. The company's own data keeps accumulating inside it, and ripping it out becomes more painful than just keeping the subscription. Idea number 8. Build my startup AI agent. And here's the one almost every solo founder has fantasized about at some point. You type a rough idea into a box, hit enter, walk away for a few minutes, and come back to an entire business already mapped out. Product requirements, wireframes, landing page copy, database schema, MVP scope, a launch checklist, maybe even a starter code base sitting there ready to deploy. Most founders don't actually struggle with having ideas. They struggle turning a scattered paragraph into something structured enough to build. This removes that friction completely. Someone types, "I want to build an AI meal planner for busy parents," and Claude generates the PRD, the onboarding flow, user personas, database structure, homepage copy, launch angles, and a prioritized feature roadmap, automatically in one pass. The gap between "I have an idea" and "I have something I can start building" basically disappears. The reason this works right now and not 2 years ago is that every individual piece already exists. Claude can already write structured documents, generate code, plan systems, and produce marketing copy. The product here isn't inventing new capability. It's packaging all of that into one smooth workflow instead of 5 separate tabs. Monetization is an easy sell because the perceived value is enormous. Founders already pay separately for courses, templates, boilerplate, and coding tools. Bundling all of that into one generation workflow easily justifies $99 per run or a couple hundred a month for unlimited use. And people building startups are about as high intent as users get. They already expect to spend money to move faster. So that's all 8. Real businesses, real stacks, real pricing. Not ideas, blueprints. And here's the part most people watching this won't want to hear. Most of you are going to feel motivated for about an hour, save this video, maybe open Claude once, and then do absolutely nothing with it by tomorrow. The people actually making money off this didn't wait until they felt ready. They picked one. They built the ugly first version. They figured the rest out while everyone else was still taking notes. You don't need all 8. You need one, tonight. And the first prompt actually typed in.